Jamie, in talking about sales division two, it's also something that is naturally in your flow. You currently have 4 senior client managers at Sky. Can you talk to us about some of the challenges you faced with helping them develop their sales skills and some of the key aspects to making sure this remains a key focus in fulfilling their role as a senior client manager?
Yeah, thanks, Thomas. Just to build on top of what Ed said, it's most important that they are the senior client managers, and even if you're a senior client manager yourself, that you have enough time to talk to the clients. So rule number one, you've got to have enough time to talk to the clients, and that's all about sorting out your capacity, because 80% of the firms that we would meet at Wise, initially, they just do not have enough capacity. And when they don't have enough capacity, all they see is a new client, Thomas, as pain. It's in your body language, and you get a referral, you get a lead, and just cave in because you think, oh, how do I even have the time to return that phone call, or how do I have the time to book that appointment? So the biggest challenge is getting the team structure right, as Ed said, making sure that you really got to put people in the right seat to have the interpersonal skills. Otherwise, if you don't, you really set those people up for a fail, because and not all of us actually just like talking to people all day, every day. But just going on from that, it's really important to have a process. So I think I posted in the Facebook group a while ago the difference between goals and processes. And while you can have goals and you can have 10% growth every year and all that, that's all fine. But unless you have a process or a procedure to get to the goal is really pointless. So part of that process is to make sure that you take your senior client managers and your assistant client managers and yourself in the process of what you actually do when you meet a new client. And one of the things I've come across over the years is called LAPS, which is, leads, appointments, presentations, sales. There's a document in the vault that everyone can have a look at that and go through what I do and what I've done over the years, and then continually fine-tuned it so that when you get a new lead, like Ed says, you're selling the sizzle and not the sausage. So number one, get the time, have enough time to call these leads, sell the sizzle and not the sausage, and follow that process of LAPS. So what do you actually do when you get a lead? And, part of our process, if people have a look at that document, there's a couple of different names for it. One's called your guarantee. Another name for it's called unique selling proposition. So, the question is, why should I come to your firm? There's 1,000 other firms there. I've called your firm, but tell me about why is your firm the best? So you need to know those answers. And if you know those answers, you'll be authentic, you'll sound convincing, and then you just go through the process. The very first point is get the lead and then book an appointment. But it's even a bit more than that, Thomas. There's a great sales playbook document in there that talks about the research of how fast that you need to call leads. And I think about 85% of consumers, right, they define fast as in the first half an hour. So just be aware of that when you get a lead into your firm, from the marketing and all the money and expense that you've done on your marketing. If you've got marketing, you have to be fast. So when a lead comes in, you can almost guarantee that that particular lead has probably contacted 2 or 3 other accountants in the first hour of their research. You can get some tremendous leads from your marketing. So speed is the name of the game. And that's one of the challenges, Thomas, like in terms of your question. And also having an approach. What is the approach? So what's the unique selling proposition? Is it a specialization in a particular field? Is it the fact that you might price up front and have packages? So you really got to distinguish yourself from the rest of the players in the game. So that's sort of a couple of things. The other thing is, I think the biggest barrier, the biggest problem, Thomas, is that we're all born out of production, just doing the work, but we're not trained in actually, sales. Accountants make great salespeople when they're trained. Why do they make great salespeople? Because we're the naturally trusted advisor. And even bookkeepers have an absolute tremendous relationship, even a closer relationship than accountants a lot of the time with their client. They're in a great position to say, hey, have you thought about a cash flow forecast? The other week we were talking about, with some bookkeepers, talking about adding additional services like commentary around their KPIs, around their figures. We're naturally trusted advisors in both industries, but then it's just using that to help your clients and to offer more services to them. So there's some of the main barriers. Yeah.
Excellent. Jamie, something that's always been on my mind, and I'm sure many of our minds, is differentiating between existing and new clients. Could you just share some insights, maybe a few insights or comparisons here? Because as you said, we all grew in production. We're dealing with clients that we've always seen day to day. Managing a firm where we're seeing people come in from new leads, we're using our processes such as LAPS. How do you compartmentalize this?
Between existing clients and new clients, clients, for
Yep.
example. So, I mean, with existing clients, you've got to be a little bit careful. Some of the problems I've seen at Sky is the client manager's just on the phone forever and really giving away the IP. You've really got to have a communications policy with existing clients to a point where, I'll give you the extreme, where your client managers are on the phone for hours and hours on end, like just giving away your intellectual property or giving away your knowledge without really converting that to chargeable hours or to bills. So there's a real balance there. And sometimes, I've seen at Sky, some of the guys just sort of struggle with that balance. So you sort of must have some guidelines around that. And I have got some guidelines that I can share with everyone. The challenge is there, Thomas, that you can be on the phone all day and not charge it a thing. So you have to have the trainer to say, well, at what point do I say, well, g'day, Joe, look, I can really help you with this. This is going to take me an hour or 2 hours to do. I'll send you a proposal. To do that one step takes a little bit of courage for a lot of people, because otherwise you'll just be on the phone or on the emails all day. So with your existing clients, you sort of always you've got to give because it's in sales, but you've got to be moving, I think, as Ed has said, like to taking an order in that sense. So part of their role is obviously help the clients, but there's a limit on how much free time, if you want to call it, or time to give to them, so that you can move from the sales discussion to say, hey, I can send you a proposal on this. Or if you're a time billing firm, which you may be, you can say, well, look, I'll need to spend an hour or two on this, and this is what it's going to cost. I estimate its cost. So existing clients is that sort of discussion, but new clients, new leads, that's that lapse that I call it, Thomas. And you must make time for that sales process as well. And some accounts I spoke to over the years that they've been working for years at 80 or 90% productive, and they sort of had the mindset that every 6 minutes is chargeable. So you've got to get out of that mindset once you build the team and put people in the right seat, because part of their KPI is winning new work.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Jamie. That really clarifies it for me. So something on our mind is accountability. So I want to ask you, Jamie, and I'm sure others here are curious about this too, or they're in the process of implementing this. What are the KPIs senior client managers should be held accountable when it comes to sales?
Yeah, look, in terms of sales, the ones that are in the Fab Five for the Wise community to really focus on is number one, what percentage of leads and referrals are you actually converting to a client? That's one of the most critical ones. And the next one from a basic point of view is fees won. So what fees you've won and what fees you've lost as well. So in that sales area, one thing that we really hone on and focus on is leads to clients percentages, and then clients won and lost. And if you do that, healthy competition, the people with the lower percentages, you can delve in and just provide training, support, like where it's needed, because someone might be getting 100 leads a year, but they might be only sort of converting 10%, say, but the other 3 client managers are converting 50 or 60. So unless you measure it, you can't really make any decisions. So it's just like Peter Drucker said, what you can measure, you can manage, but you've got to go to the efforts to put the systems in place to measure these things, Thomas. It's critical that you measure the things, and then you can help people, and you can have the discussion. A couple of my guys are really good converters, and then in a group, so what works for you? How come your conversion rate's 70%? It's not in a blame culture. It's in a culture of, how can we improve? How can we help one another with our sales process and converting clients across?
Excellent.